a cheap, small wood stove that actually works. This is indeed cheap. It was maybe $79.99 US. This is all stainless steel. Yeah, I had to think about it for a second. This is indeed all stainless steel, and I actually bought it so that I would be able to tolerate being outside more in the winter and doing some work on the house and those sorts of things. However, my husband Dave is planning to use it as well outside here when it's, you know, say 19 degrees and that sort of thing, so that he can, you know, do the same thing, you know, work more outside when it's cold. We originally ordered a propane heater on Amazon, and I put it together, and then we thought about it, and then I apparently didn't do my due diligence, as I typically do my due diligence, but I didn't do it this time, and we realized just how difficult it would be with the actual propane itself, because we're looking for something that's mobile. This is light, very light. Now this specific model is like a Viver brand or something like that. I bought it on Amazon, and the last time I looked it wasn't actually available, but don't freak out yet. So Viver brand and a lot of other similar brands are actually just third-party labelers, so they're not the manufacturer, but they order the same item and they just put their name on it, and that's it. That's why a lot of things on Amazon and eBay and Etsy all look identical, and they have the same product pictures sometimes, and they have different brand names on them. It's the same thing, it's just a different seller, really. Okay, so I have used this, and I did do my due diligence with this, and some of the reviews, people were freaking out that the stainless steel was turning red. Okay, so have you ever used an electric stove that has an element on it? The element turns red. That's what metal does. This is actually marketed as a tent stove. However, there are other uses. Clearly, we're planning to actually just use it outside. We're not storing it outside besides in our shed, but we're planning to indeed use it outside. However, if you have a tiny home or a shed that you need to keep warm in, this could be an option. I saw the one gentleman had like a hunting cabin or something that he put this in, and he was really happy with it. I haven't used it a ton, have used it some though, and it is very easy to use. This thing you know, moves very easily. You can see yeah, you can see I've got ashes in here from not cleaning it out after using it. There we go. You can see probably that it's partially pink. It does that. The stainless steel, most of it turns pink due to the heat after use. I saw that there was one or two people that complained about fumes from it, and they do recommend, the manufacturer does recommend running it outside before using it inside, which makes sense. I would also recommend, once you've run it outside and bring it inside, that you have all your windows open for the first use as well. So, you know, there are a lot of people who are looking at alternative living situations, such as living in a tent, living in a shed, living in a tiny home, those sorts of things. And for those situations, I wanted to bring this out in particular because it is so affordable, and it works just fine as far as I'm concerned thus far. You never know. So it did come with these two things that went on the side that are completely irrelevant to me, and so I didn't put them on. But the stack itself, this is a stack itself, works just fine. As far as starting a fire, talk to other people about that. There are a zillion YouTube videos about that. Now, if you are putting it inside something, inside a shed or such, or maybe you have a tent and you need it to go out the side and not upwards. I could not find any 45-degree angle ones of these that fit, but I did find 90-degree ones. fit. And I will link to these. I will link to this as well, and I'll link it to the specific listing so you can look at it and see what I got. And then I'll also link elsewhere if I can find similar ones, and maybe they're the exact same thing for all I know. There are different sizes of them, but as long as you get something that, in my opinion personally, as long as you get something that's all stainless steel, you know, it's going to be decent. This doohickey here does come out, and apparently some people report that it warped. We do have extra stainless steel here. I do find it unusual that this didn't turn pink like everything else did. We do have extra stainless steel around here that I'm considering having, or actually I can do it myself, cutting a piece to size if it warps potentially, and then sealing it. With DAP fire resistant mortar. It's high heat mortar. I did look into it, and it can be used with metal. So that's good. So that's one way. And anywhere you see like smoke leaking out, you can put some of this on there as well. And I did notice some smoke leaking out from this thingy here. I'm not a wood stove expert here. I'm just telling you like it is. And of course, wood smoke has, I got ashes on my fingers now. Wood smoke does have concerns in regards to health. Now, if you're putting this inside a structure and you're going out the side, I will link to these 90-degree things. There's 2 of them, which I don't know where the other one's at because I'm awesome like that. So you'll want this, and you'll also need to increase the length of the chimney itself. As to how high, you're just gonna have to figure that out on your own. But what I bought 3 4-packs of the extenders. And I will link to these as well, and they do fit. And as much as there is valid concern about Amazon, they take their stuff back. Having serious problems on eBay these days, which I will link to, ironically, the stuff that I sell on eBay, which is just like, sometimes it's broken tools, but sometimes it's tools that Dave doesn't need anymore, or I do seed save, and I have extra seeds as well. I just things that we don't need anymore, just random things sometimes. Okay, so what you would do if you're going out the side, then you'd put this guy here, and then you would go out the side, and then you'd have another one to go up, and you would, like I said, extend upwards. So I got what we need for that, just in case, because you just never know. The world's a bit insane these days. Oh, and I did want to mention the little damper on here does work just fine. Okay. Another thing, if you have it inside, is if it's going through a tent or a wall, it's going to need to go through something fireproof. So anything that's fireproof, any of these fireproof tent doohickeys, like what I'm holding here, they're all going to have fire retardants on them, and that is not good. But well, would you rather freeze to death or be exposed to a little fire retardant? If those are your options, then I think you're going to be choosing to be exposed to a little bit of fire retardant. And they're all pretty much the same as far as I'm concerned. So this is Solo, Wilder brand, whatever. Doesn't matter. The same thing goes with the fireplace mats. The reviews are mixed on these. Basically, you need to have something underneath to protect so you don't set everything on fire, because it gets hot, and it does indeed get quite hot. We do have in our house the purchased thick thicker thingies, and you know, you can use bricks and there's all sorts of things you can use. Of course, you wouldn't want to put this in an actual house or a barn or something that you have insured, because insurance isn't going to cover this. It's not UL listed. So if you put it in a shed that's $500, for example, and it's valued for potentially at $500, your shed, and your insurance deductible is $1,000, and you burn down your shed because you put this in there, well, you're not going to file with insurance. So whatever. That is going to be a risk that you take with this sort of thing. But then, of course, like I said, there's the risk of freezing to death. That is a serious concern. But with all the people who are living in tents these days, this is something to consider. And I think I have covered everything. If I missed something, don't hesitate to go to our website, which I'll link to below, fill out a contact us form, and I will address it in a non-toxic home Q&A at a later date, and respond to you as well with any information. As far as fire starting goes, like I said, contact someone else, or don't contact someone else. Just go to YouTube and search for it. There are a zillion videos on it, but what I personally used, we're using this outside. I do buy paper towel. I don't buy toilet paper. I will link to my extensive article on toilet paper alternatives, because my 99-year-old grandma helped me with it. Yeah. And there are so many options. We haven't bought toilet paper for 5 years, 6 years, something like that. Actually, no more than that, 6 or 7 years. And we are very happy about it. It's great not to have to buy toilet paper. But I do buy paper towel for things like the cat getting sick and those sorts of things. And so I cut a paper towel in half and stuck dryer lint inside, and I use that for a fire starter here. As far as what you can burn in here, I think it holds like 12-inch logs. However, we live in a woods here, and so there's a lot of dry wood around here, and so I just cut a lot of sticks, honestly, like 1-inch round sticks to length, and stuck them in here and burned that. And then of course we have, scrap pieces of wood here and there. And that worked as well. So obviously it's not a rocket heater, or it's not a rocket stove, because it doesn't have that full combustion. However, what I burned, again, it was dry. You don't want to burn wet stuff, because you're going to really crank up the smoke then. But it didn't emit a ton of smoke. I was totally fine with it. So, and I'm pretty sensitive to things. But it's very different for me these days than it used to be, and I can tolerate exposures to a lot of things like smoke that I didn't used to be able to tolerate, or not cigarette smoke, but wood smoke that I didn't used to be able to tolerate. So again, if you have any questions, please click below to the website, fill out the contact us form, unless you're on Patreon or Substack watching this, in which case I will see those comments. Thanks so much for being here, guys. Oh boy, my leg is stiff now. Have a most beautiful and blessed day. Non-toxic out.